Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Making sure everything's alright on my end here. Unfortunately, Gareth isn't feeling very well. It's just me for the time being. My name's DragonDrop. Happy to bring you the series TNC Pro Team versus WG.Unity. The show must go on, as they always say, because this is the lower bracket finals for the Captain's Draft 4.0 SEA Qualifiers. In an elimination series, a best of 3 between these two teams. Decide who will go on to face against Mineski. Both of these teams already have played them. UGU just lost to them yesterday in the upper bracket finals 2-0. TNC matched up a little bit better here in terms of results, 2-1 in their earlier series, also in the upper bracket. So both of them have a bit of a score to settle about being thrown down to the lower bracket. But we'll see what happens here. It's Captain's Draft. Anything can happen. We've seen a Dark Willow in this tournament already. We've seen a Pangolier just yesterday. None of those in the pool right now. We're looking at this and we see Monkey King already banned out as a standard. I see a Meepo, the Arc Warden also comes to mind. There's always this potential of like, hey, here's this hero that once he hits like Midas, Boots of Travel, Shadowblade and stuff like that, once he gets going with these items, he's almost unstoppable, especially with a very limited hero pool. Although beyond that, seems pretty decent. Very few very few roaming heroes left, and offlaners as well, by the looks of it. Like there's a Tide Hunter, not ideal. Earthshaker, which we haven't seen played, I believe, here in the SEA region so far, even though it's been in the pool a couple of times. There's the Axe available. In terms of roaming heroes, there's also the Pudge, so a couple of strength heroes here and there. Outside of that, though, it's actually very thin, right? You could go back to something like Faces Void offlane. Enigma is there in the intelligence side.
10 seconds remaining.
But yeah, outside of that, you almost have to go for some sort of aggro dual lane, which is even possible with the Undying, so I wouldn't hate that. Undying very strong in the early parts of the game here between Decay, between Decay as well as Tombstone. Slightly changed a little bit.
10 seconds. Dire team pick. TNC's turn to.
Alright. Undying, oh, there it is actually, yeah. Oh, again, sorry if I cut out for a moment. I was trying to organize another co-caster because, again, Gareth isn't feeling very well right now, unfortunately. So, Undying to start off with for WGU. Already setting up for this kind of aggressive style. Maybe dual lane, maybe even aggro tri-lane, if you find the right core heroes to combo that up with. Perhaps something like I want to say Ursa, and then maybe Shadow Demon comes to mind. Like, you need some sort of setup ideally if you're gonna go for the Ursa. Just make sure that he can go in, get the slow walls off, Undying can then start stacking up decays and zombies. So that'll be that. Ogre Magi Sniper though, pretty solid combo. Is kind of hopping back to, say, like almost a year ago. Been a while since this big old sniper troll meta, but Ogre Magi with the Bloodlust buffing up the sniper. It's the general idea. Just stay in the back and let the sniper plink away. And now they still need some sort of frontliner to enable him to do that, because Undying wants to run at you, Death Prophet wants to run at you. Neither of them really necessarily have the tools for it. And if you really look at the hero pool, there's actually not too much that the sniper has to worry about. The Legion Commander is the one that's the big one that's left. The jump heroes, like Legion Commander and Axe, perhaps. WGU might want to go for one of them. At the same time, TNC probably do well to snag one of them up themselves. Especially Legion, like if you can get in for the duel onto Death Prophet before that ultimate comes through, maybe you can kill her. And once you get the Blade Mail, even the ultimate hasn't but the ultimate can even help you win those duels. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Gotta be a bit careful, but there's the Pudge actually coming through from WG. So, more aggression for themselves to try and find these hooks, dominate the early game. That's what it really comes down to. Right. Sniper, one of these heroes that kind of needs a few items here and there. Yoga Magi helping
5
out, that's
seconds remaining.
helps amplify that, but you still need your damage to really get going. And WG, for now, looks like they want to try and go ham before he gets to that point. They're missing right now, though, is push, really. Could still pick up the Enigma, perhaps. Or yeah, wouldn't hit the Enigma. Gives him some extra control to work with. There's not a whole lot of that in the pool, by the way, right? This Captain's Draft, we always talk about stuns, and more often than not, the team with the most stuns end up winning. But right now, there's not too much left, right? I mean, you have the Pudge, which has interrupt at least. I guess that is member as a single target stun. You'd have, yeah, you have very weak ones left. The Chen with the creeps, which is rather unreliable. You have the Visage Birds, which is not really great. Enigma Black Hole, which is a big cooldown. Can't really count the Malefice. Then yeah, Legion Commander and Axe. And Titan, I guess, but also again, big ultimate, so very interesting indeed.
TNC's turn.
Should be able to get a co-caster for game 2.
Weaver.
Alright. Speaking of Enigma, actually, it's actually TNC picking that up. Enigma
10
together with the
seconds remaining.
Weaver, so I kinda like that too. But only kinda. Like,
5
Weaver is a
seconds
similar
remaining.
hero to Sniper in that regard, that he wants to, like, not commit into a fight. He doesn't really want to man-fight anybody. He wants to just zip in and out in the front lines, while Sniper wants to stay in the back, so it's really gonna be down to the Enigma. To just try and keep the fight controlled for both of them, and got the Black Hole available. The Malefice, again, not really a stun. It's kind of good utility still, just cancel TPs and whatnot and try and chase people down, but the big old team fight, it's not really making too much of a difference. So it's a lineup that's built on very, very fragile stilts, if you will. Pretty sure if the Enigma gets taken out, then Weaver, Sniper will just have to run away, unless they've already done enough damage to begin with.
Dire team
And what other hero do they still have, right? They couldn't run Sniper mid, Weaver safe lane, Enigma off lane, so they'd still have room for that 4-roll hero. Again, Legion Commander and Axe, untouched so far in the pool, even as the Shadow Demon comes out. Maybe you don't want to pick LC into that just because pretty much forced to go into Shadow Demon now,
10
because
seconds
he's just going to
remaining.
disrupt anyone who you duel outside of that.
5 seconds remaining.
We'll see. I still feel like TNC need this one hero that you can still run Enigma in the jungle, right? I think that's one of the heroes that actually still works well,
TNC's
despite
turn to
the Pullman
pick
Shield and Iron
Medusa.
Talon being missing. So it's something worth considering. Enigma in the jungle, another offlaner for TNC, but for now, Shadow Demon Medusa rounding out WG's lineup. So a bit of an extra illusion strat to save from the Shadow Demon is going to be useful.
10 seconds remaining.
Medusa also kind of good in these kind of hero pools
5
where you have
seconds remaining.
no mana burn really to speak of. Weaver might buy the Fusel Blade, still pretty good damage item, even though you don't have the Purge anymore. It's not like
Choose your hero.
too much to purge off anyway in this game, outside of perhaps a Death Prophet Yules. That's the Elder Titan. Alright, that's a little bit more interesting. I have not seen that hero in a long while. Has it been reworked at all? Is the question I have. Echo Storm now wakes up with a target, takes more than 50, 100, 150, 200 damage from all sources. So you can't just stomp somebody up and expect the creeps to finish them. You get a visual effect for the natural order, so it's useful. And then some talent changes. Nothing too crazy. Actually, Astral Spirit Hero attack, plus 70 attack speed to level 20. Minus 75 seconds Earth Splitter cooldown, or 100% lifesteal level 25. So you can probably just go right-click Elder Titan. Picking it up here is just gonna try and eat that 4-roll Roma SMH on the Enigma. Taking it to the offlane, one would imagine. So it's That's a thing that happened a while ago. Seen it a couple of times. Elder Titan just running as a 4 months ago though. So I don't know. Maybe teams can rediscover that. Overall, in terms of the drafts, don't know who I favor here actually. I really don't know. I want to say WG. Just because you have very solid lanes, very good early aggressive potential. Especially between the Undying and the Pudge. You also have X Nova to shore that up. You have a Death Prophet who can just really convert that into objectives as well. One thing the TNC is also kind of missing, unless you count the Enigma Eidolon pushes, which is good if you're just kind of trying to set up and kind of slowly chipping away at a tower, but it's not really the kind of thing that Death Prophet offers. Right? Jabami presses R, you win a team fight, you take a tower. You get quite a lot out of that, whereas the Eidolon push is easily countered. But for now, smoke rotation, X Nova leading the charge. Tim's in a good position now and quick enough on his feet to be able to walk away from this one. Now the rest of TNC, they can choose try and fight this, but not quite all of them here, so they just have to abandon this particular bounty rune, one would think. Not exactly the best early game fighters. Then in the spirit, dodge for the most part. Again guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Captain's Draft 4.0, game number 1 of best of 3 between WG and TNC. Lower bracket finals, the winner will move on up against Mineski. Loser will be out. It's as simple as that. Bird being a bit annoying, he has extra damage to work with, not that he really can do much with that. So, 2 bounty runes up here, going their way, but TNC. Actually Raven getting both of them on the other side, so pretty good for the Weaver, who's left to his own devices down here in this bottom lane up against the Pudge for the time being. Dale on the off lane, okay. I haven't really talked too much about WG's lanes. I was expecting this full lane with the Undying, but for now Alphamoon just sitting around mid. Also makes sense, and forcing the Ogre Magi to sit around here. It's a bit dangerous for the sniper even, like if Pharaoh manages to land this Mystic Snake on him. This time it bounced over to 1437, so yeah. DK is very annoying to say the least. In Cuckoo, he's sitting here at 360 health points. Looks like max health, but it really isn't. Now 280, so one Mystic Snake gonna take about like half his health if it connects or something. And yeah, look at this, Aframush, he can just dive the tower. He's faster than Cuckoo, even with the slows coming through, but he does not want to commit. Goes for another decay, 280. It's not as low as he can go. I think the first stack is gonna start to wear off soon. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Yeah, there's another decay. Keeping it up at 16. Now Pharaoh unable to really connect the Mystic Snakes though. Something to look at. Yeah, you see how much damage he takes. There it is. It was just a... That's not even a bounce, it was just a normal Mystic Snake directly targeted. It's really interesting to look at. Top lane, we've got the Death Prophet. So I was expecting that hero to be mid. That, to be quite honest. With the Medusa last pick. But, okay, disruption onto 1437. They're trying to keep X Nova alive. He's caught with Malphus as well, though. Slowing it down a little bit. They have some Eidolons, have Body Box. He's trying to TP out now as the stuns have been used, but the first blood will still be there. Plenty of damage. Nice spacing. And this is where Malphus really comes in handy. You can't TP out of that one. They still had the early Fire Blast from 1437. So, well played in this front. And this will be useful as well for Sam H. I mean, you really want this matchup with Death Prophet up against the Enigma, so you can try and nuke down these Eidolons. It's something that Pharaoh cannot easily do if he was safe laner, even with the Mystic Snake, I believe. So and it's still a fine matchup for the Medusa, one would think. Yeah, 11 and 3 to the 5 and 5 of Cuckoo. It might recover now a little bit. with the creep wave under his tower, and you can get losses with that. Yeah, it's can be a bit tricky sometimes, especially with the sniper. You don't have a lot of loss damage to work with, but Cook is a good player, so he'll be doing that no problem. Alright, so he's trying to recover. Bottom lane, Raven, double bounty to start with, and some good losses under his belt. WG winning top lane in terms of CS quite handily, but Sam H is getting his levels, that's the thing. Almost level 4 Pudge as well though, so Velo's also not really being zoned out heavily. Most of his action still is in his mid lane. Aftermush returning out, focusing with the decays onto the sniper. Trying to keep Cuckoo guessing and trying to make him play very defensively. Now the decay is only going to be down to like 400 health points. So. And he's throwing out a Mystic Snake directly because he's staying away from the shrapnel. Doing quite a bit of damage here. Level 2 already, 4-star demand shield. 1-4-3-7 keeps Pharaoh in for a little bit longer, so on very, very low, has himself left. Just fine, but look at this now. Velo with Invis Rune could be very, very good, especially if Skook is already sitting at very low health. He's walking back towards the courier, gets himself another salve of his own. Not getting full value out of it, but yeah, he's not, because he's sitting at so low health regardless. But once these DK stacks come back, then he'll... Yeah, but oh, Aframush, he's the one actually dropping low. He heals himself up, but has to walk through a shrapnel. He'll just straight up die here, Pharaoh. Might be next, mana shield up, another shrapnel. He's TPing out with the last of his mana, but it's not enough. Velo not pulling the trigger means that 1-4-3-7 and Cuckoo they actually just get two very easy kills. Ho haha, indeed. And Velo just ends up with some wasted time. He was looking for a hook angle on Sniper, but Cuckoo being so low means that he's going back towards the courier. Very hard to reach him there with 1-4-3-7 also hiding in the wings. So this mid lane turning out to be a bit of a disaster still. 19 lasted towards the 16, but Cuckoo also got like 13 denies, and yeah, a lot more important these days. He's winning this mid lane right now, especially with the skill and the assist as well. And the case spam, I know, if you can put it into kills, it's not nearly as valuable. Kill down bottom. Yes. Oh, actually gets a hook onto Tim's here. Nicely done, but now managed to die to Raven, and he will. Trying to deny himself, that's not gonna work. X-Nova trying to help out, but now he actually might be in trouble. 1-4-3-7 rotating around. They get the bugs, they get the ignite, and Raven with a double kill. TNC getting a lot out of this early game here, as it turns out. Kills left, right, and center. Starting with that first blood up in the top rune spots. Mid lane is definitely being won, so the only lane it's technically lost is the Death Prophet in the top, but Sam H is still fine, right? He's level 5. Has some last hits. Not the end of the world, right? He's matching the DP. Meanwhile, mid, they're gonna go again here. The shrapnel so strong. Aftermush will triple DK. Try and turn things around, but not so much he can do. He does have the damage, essentially, with just taking the health points away, but he does not have the control. X-Nova, meanwhile, again, gonna get gone on. No disruption. Already used it here on Raven, who's taking quite a bit of damage in return, just with the slow catch on top and illusion chipping away. And now, Velo and Aframush. Oh, the hook! Gets him! And he was under the influence of, well, yeah, the soul catchers, so you get that illusion until he respawns, which is always so fun. Valve added quite a bit of these kind of mechanics. Don't be surprised. That's the soul catcher. There's also the thing where if you die an Avenge Aura, illusion gets created. If your teammates die an Avenge Aura, I believe. I don't know if the enemies die an Avenge Aura. One of these. Which was built this game, so we'll not see it today, but also one of these things that we have seen in this tournament. Same for the Razor change with the unstable currents, much more useful now. Led to a few kills here and there. Actually seeing how the Field Blade doesn't purge anymore, just having Or doesn't dispel, I should say. It still purges. Because the active is called purge. We had that discussion the other day, but it doesn't dispel anymore. It's a more important part, and oh, Raven actually made the rotation up top. X-Nova again, like to be a sacrifice. He's trying to make it to the tier 2 before the disruption, but I cannot get it off. Meanwhile, Velo trying to make something happen here in mid, but he just dies himself. Innocent from Jabam. He made the rotation out of that top lane, seeing it's under a lot of pressure, and he's making his way down bottom instead. He's level 6. And they're picking out this bottom tower, so maybe we're just gonna straight up go for the exorcism without a team fight attached to it, just to try and trade for these towers, because MH is there, does have a couple of Eidolons. One will go down sooner rather than later. Raven, though, he wants to defend. The Glyph also helping out the creeps here a little bit. And I want to go. We'll try and punish this Death Prophet here. Aftermush sitting behind him, though. Went up on Tombstone at this point. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really had the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, Raven and Tim's both making rotation here to fight, because they don't really add too much value to the push anyway. Meanwhile, Aftermush drops the Tombstone mid now. Disruption and back, so allowing them to stack up a little bit more. Cuckoo this time, he'll be dragged back by Velos, dismember. 1-4-3-7 in the middle of that as well will fall as the entirety of WG collapses into this middle lane instead of the bottom. Get 2 good kills and chipping away at the tower, but without the exorcism they have a very hard time actually dealing with that. And Sam H, right, took tier 1 top, now rotating mid. And overall, despite the deaths, I want to say that's a trade in favor of TNC, just overall in terms of objectives. Yeah. That was really the first teamfight really that we see WG win because of the Undying as well. Only expecting to be able to dominate the early game here, him and Pudge really as well, but one of them had to be in the offlane and it was the Pudge, so we didn't really see him. He tried make those rotations a couple of times, but it's much more obvious if he's missing off the offlane versus when he's just the 4 role and he's just missing all the time. So kind of expect the Pudge rotations in the laning phase, but haven't really been able to get a lot of mileage out of that. Dire scans. TNC go for another tower. They have the catapult here. Starting to chip away at the tier 1. Pharaoh leading the charge. Nova. He's smoked up together with Velo in the back. Another TP through here from Aframoosh. TNC, they smell it's coming a mile away. At least they secure the tower, but might not get anything with the smoke. It's about to expire. They're legging it up to the top lane. This could be a nice kill. Damage just gets hooked, dismembered, soul captured, and eventually brought down. There it is. Alright. Get the Enigma illusion. None of the spells though, unfortunately. Assassination spam continues in mid, I believe. Aframoosh just speaking. Just telling Aframoosh, yeah, we know you're here. Just stay back, I guess. We're about to get this mana boots, so that's good. That's just sustain all your spells essentially, but again, they haven't really been able to find situations or put on the pressure in the lanes, and now that the laning stage starting to break down, it's much harder for an Undying to be able to connect, especially if you have a team whose only control, whose only initiation really is the Pudge. Like the problem with Captain's Draft sometimes, like you have these heroes that want to fight in one particular area with the Tombstone, with the, speaking of Tombstone, the Fuse Blade already done on Raven, does get hooked back, but it's recruiting right forward. Aframoosh needs to get rid of the bug here if he wants to survive, gonna get the tower to help him out, stick charges. But Raven, he wants to get the kill. One more Geminate attack, and the time runs back before he gets dismembered. So very well played. Raven adds another one to the tally. 5-1 on this Weaver. Top of that world chart, extremely strong, and the only one that's even close is the Death Prophet. And I was just gonna say, it's one fight in one area between the Exorcism and the Tombstone, but you have no real way of keeping TNC from running away. The only AoE crowd control that you have is Halo getting close and rotting somebody to slow them down, and Tombstone zombies stacking up. But it's very, very bad ability in that sense. So they have to try and go for these kind of plays. Wrap around, try and burst somebody. Try and use this member just for the quick kills, and then make TNC run away from you so you can get some space behind objectives. Though, I think defensively enough, they don't see too many heroes on the map, just the Alphamouche bottom and Pharaoh mid. The mage is gonna take that opportunity top. What's the progression like? He does have the hand of Midas, so went for that. He has the recipe anyway, and enough money for the gloves. Needs to get to the side shop or something. He's going accelerates, blink BKB. Once he has that, there's nothing really that can stop him apart from the Medusa, perhaps, with the ultimate, but it takes a while to actually turn people into stone.
A golden thread.
That would be an issue for them. Like, this member technically goes through magic immunity, but can't really get close to the Enigma. Hook maybe. Does Hook go? Yeah, it does, so that's one thing that Enigma actually has to worry about, even with the BKB. Outside of that though, like, he could also go down the Mac route, start grouping up as 5 and just daring WG to go into them, because they have to if they want to take any sort of team fight. What I'm talking about here. They have the jumps, drop down a Tombstone, Cuckoo. He's slowed down slightly by the Spirit Siphon, but that's as unreliable as they come. This one, that works well though. Velo with the hook. Should be a freebie here with Evolution Jabami turn things around. That's good multicast somehow, but WG, they can't get anything more off of that. Maybe some tower pressure if they want to use the access. And Ravens here to help get rid of the creeps. A bit scary to fight into. Sam H up top, slowed down into another hook, but Tim's is there as well with the stump. Not enough to give them enough space though. Vela was still rotting away, and Aframouche coming through for the kill. 3-2-2 gold. That's what he got from that. Because of course it is. Down here, look at this. Losing up the Weaver and cheaping out. It's the highest net worth hero inside of the Dire, just straight up falling to a Weaver who's just 1,000 gold head. Each of these. Raven's gonna go for Lincoln's next, so this kind of play will not really work again. TNC, they're just slowly but surely building their lead, and they have time on their side. Anyway, talking about WG's early game potential and their prowess with the Undying, but that rapidly falls off, and they haven't really been able to capitalize and snowball off of that. Undying can still be useful later on online. You have this cool talent with the Tombstone on Death. So if he died here, he would have had 2 Tombstones, but with TP through, Alphamouche proving to be a little bit too tanky. Not committing for the kill. At the same time, they haven't used 2 spells anyway. Quick pause can bar me. Gives me a chance to sip on my coffee. Ah, that was a quick pause indeed. Right. Can't help but feel that WG is the ones reacting to TNC, well, it should be the other way around. As all the tier 1 towers have been taken by the Dire side, and they're all still standing on the Radiant. On the Dire side, and also standing on the Radiant. That's an indication that something's not really going well for WG. Jabami pops the ultimate again for this bottom tower. This time, he might not want to fight this. They do have the black hole, but don't really have the vision in this area. Everyone on the side of WG could be waiting there. Velo is showing himself, giving creeps. That'll be all good. Again, but they're still farming. Not just Raven, it's also Cuckoo, who's not really been shut down at all. He died once, sure, but he's got 3 kills as well. And all the last hits in the world up to 100 now. That's in. That's pretty decent. Has the Maelstrom already to help him farm even more. 2k gold in the banks, or go towards the Hurricane Pike, or whatever else he wants. Okay.
Dire's top tower is
I
under
think maybe
attack.
Shadow Blade also still will be enough. It's for the extra movement speed. Even if they have detection, you will try and scoot on out of there. I'll turn into the second Weaver, but probably just a Hurricane. Or some other damage item. Type is very versatile in this regard. Doesn't even bear the whole run. We have the Weavers doing a ridiculous amount of damage already. He's still working away at the Lincolns, about halfway there. A little bit more than halfway now. And you have Ogre Magi to buff you up. He's maxed out the Bloodlust. And you also have an Elder Titan, also going to buff you up with a Natural Order if he's in the middle of the team fight. So what is that now? Armor reduction is centered around the hero magic resistance. The spirit, I believe. So he kind of has to actually go in to get rid of some of this armor. And WG don't have a lot to begin with. They're gonna go on Stan Age, but Tim's the turnaround here. Jabami taking a lot of damage. He's waking up though because he's taking too much. That's a bit of a nerf in that sense. And we try and get away. Nice little, nice little hook there, and they will actually get the kill onto Tim's. But they also finish off the Death Prophet as well as Velo here. Raven and Cuckoo together. TP interruptions and the damage and the chase potential out from Moosh. He's not long for the world either. He's nothing to defend himself against this. He just straight up dies. Raven, okay. Maybe it's timing a little bit too deep. The Tier 1 is still standing, guy. Dude, friend. They realize that they time us back, they get the tower. And this is what TNC say. Alright, we are advantaged. We got the farm on the heroes that we wanted to. We have the better draft at this stage in the game. You haven't exploited your strengths as much as you could have, well, maybe could have. And gonna make use of that right now, chasing people down. Lose the Elder Titan, but that's a small price to pay for the bounty runes, the map control. Everything won. And struggling to see what WG can do outside of just farming up themselves at this point. Medusa, Hero, like, he's claimed the top net worth slot in his team. He's doing his best, but again, he's also one of these heroes where it's like, oh yeah, you go in with Stone Gaze, you slow people down, sure, but not really by a significant amount unless they just face you. But the thing is, if WG uses any spells, all the TNC has to do is walk back, wait them out, and then go back in. They have the mobility to do so. Like Bloodlust doesn't just give you attack speed, it also gives you movement speed, obviously. Raven, very mobile in this just naturally. Pregnance on the sniper, he doesn't go for the 4-star / Hurricane Pike, so he's relying on his own positioning to begin with. That he's going straight for the Mjolnir. Pretty close though too. Even put that onto Raven or somebody that Velo's going on to just more damage in return, but yeah. Blink and Enigma can stay behind. TNC, they all they need to do is keep the proper positioning, and they're gonna be absolutely fine. Win every team fight against the Medusa, even against the farm Medusa, I want to say, because again, apart from Velo, there's not a lot of control. And that's a lot to put on a Pudge. And being single target and all. Heist. But no game is unthrowable. TNC have looked a little bit shaky at times in their previous series in this tournament. But there's one day to show up, then it's today. If they win this one, they have to play best of 5 in the finals against Neski. And if they're not the best there, then, well, we better hope that Mineski isn't either, because they've been looking extremely strong so far. first I have to go through this series. It's only game number 1. Still haven't seen the black hole yet even. Some mage hasn't needed to... Yeah, he hasn't needed to use it just yet. Dropping up just some vision. WG. Have to try and mount the defense. Raven in the back, already forcing out TPs though. X-Nova slowed down. The Lincoln Sphere will prevent the disruption. Damage, chasing it, trying to get close for black hole perhaps, and just get some alphas off. Chasing them all the way up to the high ground to secure the tier 2 tower.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's middle
We're used to seeing a lot of kills here in these SEA games.
Dire's top tower.
So far TNC is just getting objectives without counters though, so not really in this game. His structures, oh, radiant structures fortified. I was like, okay, what's going on here? But just saving the tier 1 tower mid. Having that available this late in the game just so useful, especially with the shrine moving down a little bit further south. That mid towers gained some more importance in terms of map control, just as a TP spot. Yeah. Don't know what else to say here about this game. Hero is farming. So is Jabami, but they're gonna continue to have a hard time bringing their spells to bear even. Maybe the high ground defense, maybe if TNC comes to overextend. They haven't shown any inclination that they're gonna do that. I'm playing it very slow and methodical so far, just focusing on golden item progression. Sniper going for the blink now as well. BKB and Enigma too, so yeah, it's... That's good. As long as you catch the Pudge in the black hole, you should be absolutely fine. If you have enough units blocking the hooks and whatnot. It'll just be one of these games. There's nothing the whole game, and then decided by one team fight. Still more kills than League of Legends though, so there you go. Velo sitting on the high ground. I think they know he's here. He's steeping out. Oh, he's trying to, but he gets caught. Just see him walk in there somehow. I don't know. With the ward here, the dice are jungle scouting at that rotation, but now pick up into Roche. Mages will secure a high ground push. Make it much more safer. At the same time, on bottom, that's black hole. Onto Medusa just to keep her low. Gets the ultimate off himself. Aftermush. Or drop down the tombstone. But to stack up some zombies here. Raven in the middle of that too, though. He wants to get that kill. The Field Blade doing some good work. Pharaoh's just no match for the Weaver at this point. Neither is Aftermush. The Buck nibbling away at him. Trying to TP out. That's not gonna happen. Double kill for him. That mage finishes off the tombstone. They're not even breaking the sweat anymore at this point. As I say that though, Elder Tide does end up falling. Dims has been the only sacrificial lamb for a long time here for TNC. Jabami, ooh, doesn't have the vision. Battle not quite reaching far enough. I'll see you. Probably been able to finish up DP himself, but yeah, it just goes to show. It's one of your highest farming heroes on the Dire side. But he cannot match up against the calls on TNC. Never could. No. Bottom lane. Kind of being pushed in here by the Dire side. Middle lane there, it's also sort of, but it's top lane that TNC is focusing on. Now, as I say that, of course, they're moving towards it. You want to have at least 2 lanes pushing in. Can help it. Just to make sure that you split the focus from WG's defense somewhat. The high ground defense isn't even all that good. Like, it's the defensive hooks to maybe try and get somebody in, but this kind of a play has a much higher success rate. Around, try and catch somebody off guard. Especially when TNC is splitting up to push like multiple lanes. It's perhaps an opportunity for WG, but TNC. Again, they've been playing very safe, very methodical. not giving WG any room whatsoever to get back into the game. Even at the point where they could easily give up a team fight and still be absolutely fine. Okay, so running into Tim's, the ATOS, also for the stomp here was gonna be interrupted anyway, so Tim's will fall to the hook as well. Now, can they get out? Raven on the side. Probably use the box here, the balmy. Dual Scepter pops the Lincolns, but MH. Not the black hole, doesn't need it. Cuckoo gets the other kill. WG, they needed to get themselves out of there immediately. Stands, they lose 2 heroes to the 1. And next Nova, next one on the list here. Malefice, the hook way too late. Kind of feels like it's already over with the amount of damage output that TNC have. They can rip through any one of WG's heroes in very short order indeed. Yeah, well, look at him, he's being blinked away by Cuckoo. He's losing all his mana without really being able to do anything. In through the tower, trigger the Lincolns, bam. This game looks almost impossible to win now for WG. Get mid-rack, stepping out the shrines, let's get rid of those. Push out bottom, go for the next racks. If they get rid of the next dire wave, yeah, their own should be able to make their way there eventually. Still have the Aegis, do they? Could they put it on the sniper? Yeah, make sure Cuckoo is safe, even if he does get wrapped around on. Even smoke up, alright. Smoke up, stealth up, they draw the line. Alright, let's go. Find a pickup, win the game. WG, you see how scared they are. Jabami showing, Raven going forward, they focus on the DP. BKB comes through, Raven might still decide to go for the chase. He's slowed down beyond his Gucci though. Now, well, Assassination, it's the one thing to finish it off. Aframouche is the target. 40 seconds on the sidelines. Top lane, Pharaoh is pushing, he's split pushing. Best use of his time, honestly. The zombie, Velo. Feels bad, man. Bit of an anticlimactic end, but it's a bit down to the drafts. Kind of favor WG, but it was kind of predicated on early game success. But then, if it ever got to this point, it was always going to be TNC favorite, I want to say. BK, that's what I call. Dust Pop BKB. 5x coming through, but they're just falling like flies here. Not really making a dent into TNC. The only one that's dropping those, 1437. We're still churning up Bloodlust and whatnot. Pharaoh, let's get the ultimate off. Disrupt to make sure that they turn into stone, but GG is called. Don't have the damage, they don't have the survivability, they have nothing apart from a loss under their belt. That's the ancient exposed, so... And a very swift victory here for TNC. After working out bad in the end. Yeah, I mean, that's about all the analysis that I can provide you. So time and time again, it's just, it happens sometimes with Captain's Draft, right? Sometimes you end up with something that you think might work, that should work, you draft good heroes, but then you end up missing this one crucial component in your draft. Especially having to put Velo on the offline pouch, you're just missing out on this early game potential. Trying to make the Undying win you the lane, but that didn't even work out in mid. WGU have to scramble in game number 2, try and tie up the series. Alright, see what's going on now. Gonna get a co-caster for the second game. In the meantime, let's all wish Gareth a happy recovery. But for now, I'm gonna take a short break. See you soon.